My hairline isn't the best. It's not terrible, but it's not ideal. My job involves me being in front of this camera all the time, so as a result, I have to make it look half decent. In this video, I'll be sharing those tricks with you in the hope that you might find some of them useful, so that by the end of the video, you've got some idea of some little things that you can do to make your hairline look a slight bit better too. The first thing to focus on is your haircut. If you're struggling with thin hair and a poor hairline, this is of critical importance. In this regard, I'd say the shorter you go, the better, especially on the sides. This is because it can help to disguise the lack of density on the top of your head. The top area is typically the area that you'll see the most thinning, at least at first. If you have a hairstyle that's an even length all over, you'll be able to easily see the areas that are thinner, as they'll usually be a lighter colour compared to the sides of your head, where the hair is typically thicker. By removing more side hair during a haircut, you will disguise the disparity in thickness across the two areas, meaning that proportionally, the thinner hair on top will start to look slightly thicker. This is why men with severe hair loss often look better if they fully shave their head. Once the head is fully shaven, the lack of hair is equal across all areas, leaving a proportionally neater look overall. While the way you physically get your hair cut by a barber is important, the specific hairstyle that you choose can also be impactful. There are certain ways that you can style your hair to somewhat combat a receding hairline. When people ask me for my advice when it comes to receding hairline hairstyles, I always recommend some form of side part, because overall, I think it can make a big difference. The advantage of a side part is you can place it exactly on the recessed area. This acts to reduce the visual impact of the recession, as you'd expect a parted area to show scalp there anyway. And as such, the lack of density is going to matter a little bit less. Further to this, when shaping your hairstyle, I'd recommend pushing the hair across at some sort of angle. Before now, I've tried pushing my hair straight back or forward. Unfortunately, such methods have tended to reveal a significant amount of scalp. Whereas if you push at a diagonal, the hair strands tend to overlap each other to give slightly better coverage. I'm not recommending going for the fully bald comb-over look, but if you've got small patches where the hair is thinner, such as mine at the front, it can make somewhat of a difference. Tweezers can come in surprisingly useful when it comes to improving the look of your hairline. This tactical plucking technique will help to reduce the classic M shape that often worsens the appearance of your hairline. It's going to sound counterintuitive at first, but you're going to remove some hairs. You're going to pluck some areas of your hairline to give it a more smooth and consistent look, more representative of a better, more full hairline. When you have hair loss, you often find your hairline gets patchy and weird, which makes it look worse. My hairline is naturally more staggered and has a thin patch at the front center area, with the bits either side of it being more thick. As such, I plucked a couple of lines of hairs from the front section, including both the thinner and thicker areas. And I also removed some of the random outlying hairs. And as a whole, it created a slightly smoother, more normal looking hairline, with more of an overall natural curve rather than the traditional M shape. Unfortunately, I didn't record any before footage for this, so I can't do a direct comparison, but I have let some of those hairs regrow a bit more, so you can see which areas I plucked specifically. This sort of gives the illusion that my hairline was always in that exact same place, when in fact it was a little bit further forward, but looked like it had recessed more before. I didn't tell any of you guys that I was doing this when I started it a few months back, but I saw quite a large influx of comments about it. People were asking what I'd done differently to change the look of my hair because something had changed, with all of them saying that it was an improvement, so I thought it was worth mentioning in this video. I'll leave a link in the description to the tweezers that I've been using for this. It's important that you can get some that are able to accurately grip the small hairs. This next one is slightly left field, but again, I wanted to mention it. I found that having a hair colour that closely matches your skin tone can help to somewhat conceal the effects of a receding hairline, or thinning hair as a whole. Really, this principle makes sense. If the hair tone is closer to that of the skin, your eyes will be less able to identify areas of thinning and recession in comparison to your skin, reducing their overall impact. Really, this solution isn't going to be for everyone, and may involve some sort of dyeing or hair bleaching to achieve it. Nevertheless, I dabbled in this a little bit before. I used to lighten my hair a little bit, and while I didn't like the overall look, I do think that it made my hair look a little bit less recessed in some of the frontal areas. I didn't get quite the same contrast between my really dark hair and then light skin beneath. In that situation, you can easily see which areas are thinner than others. Towards the beginning of this video, I mentioned different hairstyles. While hairstyles are certainly important, the product you use to create the style is arguably even more so. Regardless of any of the previous tips in this video, if you're choosing the wrong hairstyling product, it can make your whole head of hair look incredibly thin. I made this mistake when I was younger, and I'm sure loads of you out there are doing this too. Using a greasy finish hair product will clump your hair strands together, meaning that your scalp is going to be far more visible. You'll often get this with different types of pomades and hair gels. From your hairline, you'll be able to see further into your hair, which can also make your hairline look weaker and more staggered, again making it look unnatural. If you've got thinner hair and a poor hairline, there are a couple of ones I'd recommend trying instead. I'd recommend some form of matte wax or powder. Unlike in the past, these are readily available nowadays. These will leave the hair looking slightly drier and more natural, meaning the hair will look as thick as possible whilst still providing some structure and hold. I'll also chuck links to the ones I use in the video description. They're likely to be a lot better than the ones you're already using. The hair powder in particular works extremely well and gives the hair a good amount of volume with a dry finish. It definitely makes the hairline look stronger in comparison to greasy hair products. Conversely, you may want to try hair fibres. These are a different type of fibre designed to give the illusion of thicker hair. These come in a variety of colours to closely match your existing hair colour and can be sprinkled directly into your hair to thicken its appearance. This definitely makes a difference under harsh lighting and can improve the consistency of your hairline, though isn't a permanent solution. I'll leave a link to my review of that stuff in the icon above so you can check it out next. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and I'll see you in the next one.